What stood out from week number 6? Let's get into it. Thursday night, the Niners beat the Seahawks 36-24. Seattle definitely had their chances but couldn't hang on to the ball. Deebo Samuel scored a 76-yard touchdown, and rookie Isaac Guerendo had a 76-yard run to pretty much end the game. Both of these teams are now 3-3. The London game, Jaguars hosting the Bears. Just an absolute blowout as Chicago wins 35-16. Doug Peterson's still the head coach there, so he's got that going for him. On the season, they're now 1-5. For the Bears, they head into their bye week with their offense looking amazing. Caleb Williams was 23 of 29 and 4 passing touchdowns on the day, and this Bears team 6 games in finds themselves at 4-2. Commanders-Ravens somewhat lived up to the hype. The over did hit, and both quarterbacks had their magical moments. Down 14 in the early fourth quarter, Jaden Daniels did find McLaurin to cut it to a 7-point game, but it's getting to the point where if the Ravens have a fourth quarter lead, it's starting to feel like prime Mariano Rivera. It's really tough to stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Baltimore's won 4 in a row. The Packers got out to a 24-0 lead over the Cardinals and never looked back. Jordan Love had a 4-touchdown game, and his last one was this crazy one off his back foot, where Romeo Doubs adjusted, made the catch, and broke the plane. The Packers have now won 4 of 5 games. They're now 4-2. The Drake May debut could have gone better, but it definitely had its bright moments. His first career touchdown to Kayshon Boutte was an amazing throw down the right sideline. There was some garbage time involved, but overall May had 3 touchdowns in his debut. On the other side, CJ Stroud also had 3 touchdowns, and a lot of help from his running game, Joe Mixon and Dameon Pierce, and Pierce capped off the scoring with a 54-yard touchdown. The Texans are now 5-1. We had a very high scoring game in New Orleans on Sunday, and while Spencer Rattler in his NFL debut kept it close, the Buccaneers really pulled away at the end. Tampa's running backs Bucky Irving and Sean Tucker had massive games, and Baker Mayfield, who looked like 2019 Jameis Winston out there, had 4 touchdowns but 3 interceptions. For Rattler, we saw the flashes of why he could be good one day, but they did lose Chris Olave very early, and now Rashid Shaheed has a knee injury as well. The Saints receiving core on Thursday might be a bunch of 10-day contract guys. The Browns at the Eagles. The Browns coming into this one have yet to score over 20 points in a game, and that will continue. And that will not get any easier as they traded their wide receiver 1 Amari Cooper to the Bills today. Cleveland's now 1-5. Deshaun Watson still looks horrible. And for the Eagles, while they still got the win, it wasn't that pretty. They got their weapons back, and those guys made some big plays, but to only score 20 points in this matchup was a letdown. And look at this play by Saquon Barkley. He doesn't get the first down, although he definitely should have. And a couple plays later, Myles Garrett blocks a field goal, and the Browns return it for a touchdown. Should have fought for that first down, Mr. Barkley. The Colts at Titans had some fun moments. The go-ahead touchdown to Michael Pittman was a great play by Pittman. Joe Flacco's now thrown multiple touchdown passes in 8 consecutive games. And for Tennessee coming off a bye week, this is a disappointing loss. Will Levis started out looking pretty good, but on the day his numbers were not that great. He was actually below 100 passing yards. And on the final play of the game, with the Titans having to go 97 yards, the Colts had this awesome look on defense with 1 defensive lineman. The Colts get back to 500, and the Titans are now 1-4. The Chargers came off their bye week and had a nice win at Denver. Justin Herbert looked very good, especially early. Kamani Vidal had his first career touchdown on a great wheel route catch, and although Bo Nix really turned up in the second half and looked much better, it was too little too late. The Chargers got out to a 23-0 lead, and that's all they needed. LA is now 3-2. The Raiders hosted the Steelers, and it did not go Las Vegas's way. Najee Harris had a turn back the clock game, which is crazy to say about a 26-year-old, but his 36-yard touchdown run was amazing. Justin Fields had 2 rushing touchdowns, and that's pretty much all they needed. Aiden O'Connell drew the start, and he was not much better than Gardner Minshew. He also had this terrible interception on 3rd and 19 to Dante Jackson. The Steelers are 4-2, although they are considering starting Russell Wilson next week. And for the Raiders, they officially traded Devontae Adams to the Jets, which has given us some good memes. We figured the Falcons would kill the Panthers on the ground, and that's exactly what happened. 198 rushing yards, 5.2 per carry, and Bijan and Algier combined for 3 touchdowns. While Andy Dalton still looks better than Bryce Young, it's not saying much. He had 2 interceptions, and one was a terrible decision that was intercepted by AJ Terrell. For the Falcons, they look like a pretty good team right now. They're 4-2, they've won 3 in a row, their offense is humming, and for Carolina, they're now 1-5. Cowboys fans will not want to remember what happened at 425 in AT&T Stadium. They scored less than 10 points, and their opponent almost had 50. A 47-9 victory for the Lions over the Cowboys. Jared Goff was spectacular, 315 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, touchdowns. Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions, including a terrible one in the end zone, and Brian Branch got him both times. While the game itself went great for the Lions, they did have a massive loss on their defense. Aiden Hutchinson had a gruesome leg injury, and he'll be sidelined for a long time, if not the whole season. The Lions are 4-1 though, and they've scored 40 in back-to-back games. And have you ever seen an NFL team play with their food to this extent? The Lions tried a hook and ladder play to an offensive lineman, Penei Sewell, their right tackle. It didn't count, but the fact they would even try this is so disrespectful but also hilarious. Sunday Night Football was pretty interesting. Joe Burrow had by far the longest run of his career, a 47-yard rushing touchdown on 3rd and 18. Daniel Jones goes from 1-13 on primetime games to 1-14. The Giants only scored 7 points, and Cincinnati pulled away late with a 30-yard touchdown from Chase Brown. The Bengals get a much-needed victory, and both teams are 2-4. With Robert Saleh or without Robert Saleh, it was the same old Jets. A game they should have won, but they let it slip away. A big reason for that was Greg Zuerlein missing 2 field goals, and just like their game versus Minnesota in London, it ended with an Aaron Rodgers interception, and Rodgers made sure to call out his wide receiver Mike Williams for not running the right route. Next week though, both these teams will look different. The Bills will have Amari Cooper, and the Jets will have Devontae Adams. Although they're 2-4, the Jets have a very ideal schedule down the stretch, so I wouldn't count them out just yet. For injuries this week, 2 NFC East teams lost some big pieces. The Giants lost left tackle Andrew Thomas for maybe the entire season, and the Commanders lost Jonathan Allen with a torn pec for the entire year as well. And of course, Aiden Hutchinson, which I mentioned earlier. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Leave a like and subscribe if you did, and I'll talk to you guys next time.